Chris is here from Heaven Hill. Chris, what have I got in my glass right now?
So you got some Evan Williams single barrel, and do you know what? Of all the shows we do all around the country and stuff, this isn't one that gets cracked open as often. So delighted that you have it in the store today, and it's always a really one that I really love talking about, because normally whenever you see a single barrel whiskey, they tend to be 55, 60, 65% higher even. And the beauty of that is you get the completely unadulterated whiskey as it was from the barrel in your glass, right? But that doesn't mean it's always the most accessible, the most drinkable kind of thing, right? So I think it's quite rare to see a single barrel whiskey that is at the same ABV as the regular one that it's showcasing, right? So what our master distiller really wanted to do was to be able to show you exactly what that whiskey could be like if it was left to be a single barrel, because you know, fortunately, we have millions of very thirsty and happy people out there who want our Evan Williams. We can't always wait nearly 8 years for it to be ready. So this one is about 6 weeks short of 8 years old, and we do a different vintage every year. So they will be slightly different. And as a result, you get to see what this would be like compared to the regular Evan Williams. But equally, if you're lucky enough to find a 2013, a 2012, you get to see side by side what those different single barrel vintages will be like at really comparable ABVs without having to cut it yourself and all these kind of things. So I think that's really cool, and I like talking about it.
Nice. I mean, I thought it was really great when I saw it, because it's not something that you see in a lot of American whiskies these days, particularly from the macro distilleries. Would you say that there is a raw edge to it compared to the general distillery bottling?
I'd actually argue the other way around. I find it a lot smoother, a lot more full-bodied, and you're going to get that deeper mouthfeel to it as well, because where it has spent that extra time in the barrel, you're picking up those delicious vanillins, those lactones that are really just going to give it that depth, and you'll get a lot of the same. It's unmistakably Evan Williams still, but you will get just those. It's a bit of a lame analogy, but I always think of it like a ladder, right? You've got that first step that's going to be like caramel, but then you can take another step down. It's like, oh, hello, there's like more to this. And then you can carry on going down and picking up more and more just subtlety, I'd say.
There's so much coming out of that cask, but there's that lovely kind of bourbony, popcorny vibe happening as well, which I just think is fantastic. Yeah. What if somebody's buying a bottle of this or considering buying a bottle of this, what are the key features that you would describe?
I think a lot of it is I think people are very aware of the fact that American whiskey tends to be that little bit sweeter, maybe than a Scotch or something like that. So yes, you're going to get you will get those caramel notes, those vanillas, all of those wonderful sweet things, but it's actually just a lot more subtle. Yes, there's more depth to that flavour, but if you were to compare this side by side with the Evan Williams, it is going to be softer and more subtle, I would say.
And how does the master blender, I suppose, go about choosing the casks that get used for this release?
That's a really good question, and I'm not entirely sure I know the answer to that. So this was very much a project of our old master distiller, who was known as Parker Beam. Unfortunately, he passed away a few years ago, so this is very much something that we continue in his honour. So I'm fairly confident that this is a specific area and a specific warehouse that would have been Parker's barrels that he wanted to earmark to be those Evan Williams single barrels, and I think that's just carried on from there.
Chris, thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Cheers.